Chapter 3. Are we there yet? Waiting for the boats in Cyprus. While in Cyprus, we were pretty much in hiding, because we had very real fears that something could happen to one or more of us that would scuttle the entire project. We were followed by the two hippies who showed up everywhere we went. Strange characters were seen skulking about the campus late at night. We formed a night watch, kept all our doors locked and all our eyes open. There was a lot of apprehension. Mary Hughes Thompson, a co-founder of Free Gaza movement, reflecting on the long days of waiting at the University of Cyprus in Nicosia. Bella, in Greece with the boats, gin and tonic at 10 a.m. Dear Cyprus passengers, from this, you may deduce. I'm not in any immediate danger. I'm under some stress. Everything's taking us longer, and high sea winds are playing havoc with the schedule, but the whole thing's just getting bigger. So you'll have heard about the strong winds that have scuppered the current schedule. You should have seen our expressions when it was explained to us. We were not entirely sure that jumping off something very high was not a better option than phoning Greta at the University of Cyprus and breaking the news to passengers waiting there. I made Paul do it. Now I'm trying to write you some commiserations. I know some of you have reasons that mean you might have to leave. All very well for me. My next appointment is a midwifery degree on September 22nd. I guess the reason I blocked out 2 months of my life is that, in my experience, delays for such complicated arrangements often happen. Ideally we will keep you all. I can't imagine how you will feel if you have to pack up and leave at this stage, having not even seen a boat. You have been part of this with us, and maybe for some people their contribution is to begin the public part of the project, to go home, and continue to look after those of us who stay. From a 2-year perspective, in working on this project, the delay is a small blip in a big important plan not for us but for Gaza. It's bigger than all of us now. We are sending Dr. Bill back to tell you our beautiful boats do exist, and they do move. I hope we don't have to lose a single one of you. Hang in there. Bella. Dr. Bill, on the way back to Cyprus. August 8th to 20th. My plane leaves Athens in the evening, and I enjoy the panoramic archipelago of Greek islands below one more time. This time I have a better appreciation for the history and geography of Greece than when I flew toward Athens a week and a half ago. I also have more of a clue about where our boats are and where they are going. The next day I meet with a Cypriot doctor about acquiring medical supplies for the boats. I had met with his rival and immediate predecessor who had contacted me the night before, but has broken away in protest and formed a splinter organization. I'm learning that August is not the right time to try and mobilize the acquisition of medical equipment on short notice in Greece or Cyprus. Everyone is either on vacation or about to go on vacation, including this doctor. I had tried to make contacts by email from May until July before I arrived here, but it still takes a personal touch to make things happen. It is becoming hard to make the progress I anticipated, especially when my answers to the question about our departure from Cyprus are, I don't know exactly, but very soon. I head inland to Nicosia, Lefkosia, to the University of Cyprus, where FG passengers have been assembling and participating in workshops. We are being put up in college dorms. The University of Cyprus new campus is located about 10 kilometers to the southeast of downtown Nicosia. It is a futuristic concrete structure spread out over a large desert campus. The passengers are of all ages. They range from Adam Quist, a 22-year-old essayist from Denmark, who has been to Palestine twice before, to Hedy Epstein, who also has been to Palestine before, and is celebrating her 84th birthday this week. We have different backgrounds. It is fun living in a college dormitory again. Immediately around us are real college students from Germany, Spain, Italy, Albania, Bulgaria, Egypt, and other countries taking summer courses. The campus is relaxed and not crowded this time of year. These students are intrigued to hear about our FG project and pleased to see older folks like us still acting out our ideals in a project like this. The evenings are a real social event, as we compare our perspectives on the world, and compete with each other's. Musical tastes out in the courtyard in front of the main student center, where the sound system is located. In many ways Cyprus is reminiscent of the West Bank, with olive groves scattered about an arid landscape, and hilltops of pine. Cyprus even has a barrier separating its Greek side from its Turkish side. This enforced segregation developed following the 1974 civil war. The Greek Cypriot and Turkish Cypriot guards who man the barrier today do not seem as stressed, or as hostile as the Israeli soldiers who control all the walls and checkpoints that suffocate the West Bank. Of course, there have been tougher times in Cyprus in the past. Based on previous experience with Israeli forces in the West Bank, the Israeli Occupation Forces, IAF, typically separates the internationals from the Palestinians/Arabs, deports. Upon arrival at the UC campus, I enter a classroom workshop, one of many that have been in session during the previous days. Waiting can be the hardest part. The participants are indeed becoming stir-crazy, and many people are getting on each other's nerves. This workshop is about jail solidarity, what to do if we are all collectively arrested at sea and jailed in Israel. Many of those sharing the classroom with me today are veterans of the international solidarity movement and have done many non-violent direct actions in defense of Palestinian people, mostly in the occupied West Bank, but some in Gaza. Many of my colleagues have jail experience in Israel. Andrew Munsey and Issa McDermott are both from Scotland and have been arrested and deported from Israel for non-violent direct action. Mary Hoos, Greta Berlin, and Mariah Delmer have all been seriously assaulted and injured by Israeli occupation forces. The internationals, and then imprisons, and sometimes tortures the Palestinians. We do not want that to happen to some of our fellow passengers who are vulnerable to this kind of racial profiling. Our objective here is that we must all resist deportation until we have factual evidence that our Palestinian and other Arab members have been released and sent safely out of the country. This needs to happen before we, the non-Arab internationals, allow ourselves to exit. We are given the names and phone numbers of Israeli attorneys who can represent us in these disputes. I write the numbers inside the seam of my pant leg. That way if I get arrested I can contact them. We discuss techniques to avoid getting on that plane from that jail cell. We spend hours developing contingency plans that we can agree on as a group. This is not easy. Studies of group dynamics show that the optimal number of people for reaching consensus decisions is 3 to 5 individuals. Beyond that, discussions can easily deteriorate into tangential sideshows and chaotic diatribes where everyone is talking and no one is listening. Our group dynamics are even trickier, given the opinionated bunch that we are. Ramzi Kaiser, the son of Lebanese parents, who is from Washington, D.C., is acting as facilitator at these meetings. Aside from experiences in Lebanon, Ramzi has somehow talked his way into staying inside Kibbutz Barkay in Israel for 5 days with the family of a friend. He has also been in Iraq off and on between the years 2001 and 2003 doing the kind of non-violent direct action work that he is doing with us now. He has Semitic features that a casual observer could take as being either an Arab or a Jew. Ramzi was planning to be on the boats with us, but agreed to be the mainland team organizer in Cyprus before, during, and after our first voyage to Gaza. He has an analytical mind that is as sharp as a tack, and he is a stickler for detail. We have 5 Jews among our boat passengers, the Wallach sisters and Hedy Epstein whom I have discussed previously, and also Edith Lutz, a former nurse and now educator. From Germany. She joined this voyage to help children in Gaza and highlight the core of Jewish religion, love and humanity, not force and hatred. Jeff Halper, who just left us a few days ago for Crete, where he will meet up with the boats, is the only Jewish Israeli on the Free Gaza Movement boats who is still living in Israel. He is the director of the Israeli Committee Against House Demolitions, ICAHD, a non-violent Israeli peace and human rights organization that resists the Israeli occupation on the ground. In 2006, the American Friends Service Committee nominated Jeff to receive the 2006 Nobel Peace Prize with Palestinian intellectual and activist Ghassan Andoni. I also just missed Angela Godfrey Goldstein, who returned to Israel from Cyprus. She is also a member of ICAHD, and will be doing invaluable media work on behalf of Free Gaza movement inside Israel. Just before I arrived, Dr. David Halpin and his wife had left, after teaching a sea safety course. Dr. Halpin is a British orthopedic surgeon who operates the Dove and Dolphin, which brings medical and other supplies to Gaza. Because of the siege, his supplies have had to go through the Israeli port of Ashdod, about 30 kilometers north of the Gaza Strip, and are then transported overland to Gaza, which adds expense and delay. Among the Arab members of our passengers, we have Rentoul, a second-generation Palestinian American from Minnesota, Moni Deeb, originally from Gaza and now living in Los Angeles, and Musher El Ferab, a civil engineer, also originally from Gaza, but now living in Sheffield, England. We have Huwaida Araf, a Palestinian American lawyer who also has Israeli citizenship, and teaches in Jerusalem. She is a co-founder of the International Solidarity Movement, ISM. We also have Fathi, a cameraman from Tunis, and Rashid, who works as a journalist for the BBC in London, but is originally from Algeria. We have Christians too, like Sister Anne Montgomery, an 81-year-old Catholic nun who has worked with Christian peacemaker teams, and has been a peace activist for over 30 years. Other passengers include Lauren Booth, the British journalist and sister-in-law of Tony Blair, Eliza Earnshaw, a teacher from Australia, who now lives in the UK and an original organizer of Free Gaza movement, Johnny from Ireland, and Alice and Michael from the UK. Michael and several other passengers are running out of time, and will soon have to return to their homes. Their frustration with the boat delays shows and adds to the tension of waiting. Kathy Sheets, the mother of Courtney, who is currently aboard the SS Liberty back in Greece, is a retired ICU nurse who has done extensive relief work in Haiti. Thomas Nelson, a semi-retired attorney from Portland, Oregon. After decades of practice as a corporate attorney for Portland's largest firm, Tom is now a sole practitioner who represents individuals facing administrative and criminal charges brought by officials with the U.S. War on Terror bureaucracy and American Indians in land use matters on reservations in the West. Tom attended his first ISM campaign in August 2001. He comes often to the Middle East and has made numerous stops in Palestine on his way in or out. Tom's clients are located primarily in Saudi Arabia. Kathleen Okanawang is a grandmother from the Diamond Bar and Long Beach area of Los Angeles who has been active in Palestinian rights issues since the year 2000, when the Second Intifada began, and more so after 9/11 when long-standing discrimination and racism against Arabs and South Asians accelerated in the USA. As facilitator, it is Ramsey's job to keep us focused on our mission. He must allow everyone a chance to be heard, while keeping the extroverts like me from monopolizing the proceedings. It is a thankless task, but I admit, Ramsey does a pretty good job. Each morning he gives us a typed summary of what we decided the previous day to see if we are still in agreement, and if not, he offers us the opportunity to refine the document further. This seems like endless tinkering with the messages to some, which adds to their stir-craziness. My presentations at these workshops are a little bit less mundane. I must give 3 one-hour sessions, over 3 days, in trauma first aid for the boat passengers who are interned here, to transform them from lay people into basic emergency trauma technicians able to cope as best they can with a mass casualty incident. One of my main jobs is to be the disaster planner for Free Gaza movement, plan for the worst, while hoping for the best. After all, if the Israeli Navy really wants to, it has the clear capability to put torpedoes through both our boats and kill us all. If we were all Palestinian Arabs, I doubt they would even hesitate to do so. The fact that we represent 17 different nationalities from around the world makes this a much more difficult option for them. My disaster planning focuses on responses if we are attacked, or we have some other disaster at sea, and there are survivors. My instruction to this group is intended to empower them so that we can increase the likelihood that as many of the short-term survivors as possible can become long-term survivors and live to tell their tales. I also have to prepare them in the event that I and other healthcare providers are killed or incapacitated to the point where we can't help others who are wounded